Findings from the Corporate Governance Monitor 2019 show positive adoption of MCCG best practices, including step-ups. A significant number of early adopters were mid-cap and small-cap companies, reflecting a wider appreciation for good corporate governance. The average tenure of independent directors reduced from 7 years in 2015 to 5 years in 2018. 164 companies have used the two-tier voting process to retain independent directors with tenure of more than 12 years. This demonstrates greater scrutiny by boards and shareholders on the retention of long-serving independent directors. Malaysia has made steady progress in improving gender diversity on boards. The target set in 2017 to have no all-male boards on the top 100 listed companies was achieved. In 2018, 134 listed companies have 30% or more women on their boards. Moving forward, to ensure a healthy pipeline, equal emphasis must be placed on women participation in senior management. The Corporate Governance Monitor 2019 also looked at CEO remuneration of the top 100 listed companies. Sector comparisons and data on company performance were also included to provide better insights on pay and performance. The data and observations in the Corporate Governance Monitor can be used by boards to review the company's corporate governance policies and practices, to support shareholders in evaluating the corporate governance performance of companies, by advocates to promote good governance, and to consistently track progress. A corporate culture.
Do you know what is the definition of the independent director? So, independent director is in the corporate governance is the one who do not have any material relationship with the company, not part of the company's executive team, and does not involve with day-to-day operations of the company. Another characteristics of the independent director is 1. He must not be within the last 2 years and not as officer except as a non-executive director of the said company. Next, he is not a major shareholder. The third one, he must not a family member of the shareholder or the officer and any members of the company. The last one, he must not acting as a nominee or representative of the shareholder, a major shareholder or the executive director of the company.
According to the news article, The Star, How Independent Are Independent Director, the status of the directors have become questionable. This is because there are some issues have been highlighted in this article, which are:
Number 1. The tenure of independent director exceed the term limit. Based on Malaysian Code of Corporate Governance 2017, the tenure of independent director shall not exceed 9 years. However, it was found that 273 companies have independent directors who are serving for more than 12 years. A total of 218 companies serve between 30 years and 20 years, while 52 companies serve between 21 years and 30 years. And lastly, 3 companies serve between 31 years and 40 years. These have become a major concern as independent director can become too comfortable with other executive director that might influence his or her decisions in the future. Number 2, independent directors should not have relationship with the companies. This mentioned in the article that requirement to become independent director should not come from a family members or acting as representative. Even the close friend also cannot become independent director. This is because it will create biased decisions which to protect companies' interests rather than shareholders' interests. Number 3, become shareholder of the companies. These have become another issue as independent director can become minor shareholder according to the law. With the ownership of the companies, however, this might affect their effective role as independent director. This is because independent director wish to protect their interests more in the companies, thus will form a conflict of interest by making personal use of an opportunity through company to gain benefits.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Fakihah binti Azhar. So right now I will explain to you what are the solutions suggested by the author of the original paper. The first suggestion made by the author is that for the independent directors that already serve the same board for more than 9 years can be disqualified by Securities Commission. Securities Commission can make new legal provision via the Companies Act 2016 to do so. So for the second suggestion for the tenure of the independent directors is that our governance structure can make new rules to reduce the maximum years to serve for the same board, which is before this it is they cannot serve more than 9 years, so they can reduce it gradually, first to 5 years and then to 3 years. The last suggestion made by the author regarding tenure years of independent directors is that ICDM can rotate independent directors among listed company, so they can improve their skills and widen their talent. The second solution suggested by the original author is companies need to have external parties to appoint their new independent directors. As an example, they can appoint ICDM to suggest them 3 candidates for their new independent directors. For the last suggestion, the author is in the opinion that independent directors should not have any shares in the company, even it is only minority. Okay, this is because to make sure that independent non-executive directors not have any conflict of interest, and they can make decision to increase the value of the company and will benefit every shareholders.
Hi, I'm Alia. So I will proceed to the next part. Okay, as stated in the previous or original paper, there are some characteristics of independent director. For example, like they cannot be an executive director, they cannot have or be a major shareholders, and they also cannot have a close relationship with the company. The most important thing to have independent or to appoint independent directors are by the good appointment process of the independent directors. An independent director cannot be appointed just like that, but company have to have a proper or formal process. Okay, and the one who are nominated should have a skill and do not have any business relationship with the company. Okay, so the new article that we found has stated that the proposal of independent director come from 3 main sources, which are from board members, from CEO, and from controlling shareholders. Okay, according to the result from the new article, most of the respondents said they are appointed by the board members, and some of them are appointed by the majority shareholder, and it has become a common practice. The author also stated that process of appointment independent directors in Malaysia and East Asian is very much influenced by the majority shareholders. This is actually not good, since it can affect the ability of independent director in carry out their duties as independent director. Besides, it also can affect their decision making, since they are indebted with the person who are nominated and appointed them as independent director. So the author also mentioned that there are lack of diversity in board of director in Malaysia, since they choose someone they know. Other than that, a proposal by CEO also one of the common practice in Malaysia. The reason is the top management know best about internal operation of business and know what types of expertise that are required. So, the appointment of independent director from internal members or from top management can lead to the bias, and it can make a independent director not really independent. Okay, actually there are small number of respondents that said from the new article that said that they are from requirement agency or advertisement. Okay, next, H factor also has been discussed in the original paper. It stated that most of the independent director are from retirees. However, the new paper found that most of the respondents more prefer someone who have more experience, who are more capable to do these duties as an independent director. They added that someone with more experience can add more value by giving more input during board meeting. However, there are also respondents who prefer young generation because they are risk taker and faster in decision making compared to the older generation. To conclude, there are pros and cons in appointing independent director either by external or internal parties. For example, if they are appointed by top management or board of directors, of course they have more information, but are they really independent? While if they are appointed by another party such as a recruitment agency, we can strengthen the board independence even though they have lack information, because year by year they can gain information from the company.
To share with you guys what is the improvements and the recommendations that we found in the original article and the new articles regarding on this issue. Let's go.
So, for the first one is the independent director should carefully and thoroughly participate in the deliberation of strategic issues, whereby they need to ask challenging questions while CEO presenting company strategy. Later, the strategy will be aligned with shareholder interests. For the second point is independent directors to be of sufficient caliber and numbers for their views to carry significant weight in a board of directors' decisions. The next point is constitutional or the statutory body insulated for the promoters or dominant shareholders can be created to select and recommend names for IDS to the company. Another suggestion is to give a committee of IDS of the board greater say in the matter of selecting new IDS. Some of the suggestions are: first, committee of ID should meet regularly without the management and bring to the board instances of violations of law and ethics in corporate affairs. Also, the shareholder activism must be improved. Currently, the most shareholders are silent spectators to happenings in corporations, which are actually owed by them. Next, to reduce the cost for the company to do many times of interview to choose the independent director, the company can make only one interview per 5 years, for example, and they will have a list of candidates to be the independent director that following the criteria. And the people on the list will have their turn every 2 years according to the tenure they should follow. This can make the problem of the long tenure that exceed what it should be can be solved. Other than that, to avoid any family members of the shareholders or the directors being the independent director, the exact full background of the indirect director must be given to the authority, And if they find out that the infos that they receive is a scam, or the independent director is a family members of the company itself, the company will be charged penalties and it will become the cost to the company.